can't go through something like this without mentioning the influence of Apple, for example. Design could not go as fast as the technology. It couldn't deliver the craziness of what technology could do. But what design could do was humanize it. For me, there's this Eames and this Apple Jobs character. Without somebody having the discipline to say no to stuff, the technology will run away again. I think if I take design and my go back to on design is I often land back at like Charles and Ray Eames in terms of what they did and how they approached it. They approached the manufacturing, the knowledge. They had a childlike inquisitiveness, all of that. For me, that resonates the most. That's like if I had to think about a designer that you would ever want to be kind of like consider that or that type of thing, they would be up there at the top. But I think choosing designers is a weird one because you respect them for what they've done and you don't want to emulate them. You want to be, certainly influenced by designers and what they've done. Lots of contemporary designers as well as historical contemporary modern designers. But I think also when you come into influences, you can't go through something like this without mentioning the influence of Apple, for example, in terms of what Steve Jobs did with Apple, how he approached it, how he fused design into product and business. And I think singularly, they demonstrated the potency of design as a value to integrity and brand, product and purpose. And for all of the debates we might have about technology, which is another thing, because the technology sits to the side. When I was studying at the Royal College, this was sort of the dark years of Apple, when Apple was off kilter. And we once had a conversation about, technology is ahead of design. It was the era of Sony. Technology is controlling the design narrative. Sony were in control. The technology was in control of what the product was. All these buttons, all these gadgets, all these dials, graphic equalizers. When Jobs came back to Apple, he stripped it out and design took control of technology, which was really interesting because we'd had this debate at the RCA. How can designers start to control the technology narrative? And we were like, God, that's impossible. Technology is moving so fast and design is pedestrian by all accounts. We got a square box, a round box, a lozenge-shaped box. Technology is infinitely possible. It's loud, it's quiet, it's booming, it's sharing data, it's doing all this, and we couldn't do anything. And that minimalizing of products, what Jobs did in minimalizing stuff and taking the noise away and focusing on the user, not the product, but the product became paramount in kind of helping the user and streamlining how we interface and making it more intuitive. It was where design could not go as fast as the technology. It couldn't deliver the craziness of what technology could do. But what design could do was humanize it. The striving for perfection is not adding as much as you can, it's taking away as much as possible. This, for me, has been really important. And whilst I design kind of funky structures and air-clad modular systems and everything else, I'm actually trying to edit out as much as I can. That's the influence on me. How little do we need? And actually, Eames and that were doing it as well. How little do we need? Like sitting in this chair, what is the least you need to deliver what's done, what's needed? Let's not over-design this. And we're in I'm jumping on now, but we're in a really weird time now with AI, because without somebody having the discipline to say no to stuff, the technology will run away again, and we'll be back in that era where we as designers and as humans are behind the tech curve. We had a fantastic decade where Apple took control of tech through design and integrity, and we were able to benefit from it. And the successes of all of the TikToks and Instagrams and everything else are there singularly because designers took control of the tech narrative and creative products that humans could use. Now we have an AI narrative, and who's going to be the person that takes control of that to design and manage the overkill potential to make sure it's kept as an asset rather than something that just becomes like we had with tech in the 80s. So I answer that, and I talk around this in a big way, but there's these two, for me, there's this Eames and this Apple Jobs character that like sit there as big mental influences on me in terms of understanding what things are about. Yeah, as much as you want.